I fell in love with the lunar colors during my 100-day project. So in my recent Dick Blick order, I ordered Lunar Black and Lunar Earth because those were the two that I was missing. So here is the Lunar Violet and the Lunar Blue. And then I use Lunar Red Rock here in the middle. So I really liked the depth of these colors, and I wanted to see what the whole family would do together. So I've got Lunar Earth, which is this more like a brownish color. I've got Lunar Red Rock, Lunar Violet. This is a really deep violet. Lunar Blue, and then a small tube of Lunar Black, because I rarely use black in my watercolors. Now the thing about these colors too is they're supposed to be very granulating. So what that means for me is I need to remember to add water, add water. I'm already saying it in my head. So let's get started. On my sketchbook here, what I have is 5 circles. That's where I'm going to put the colors. And then over here I've drawn a Luna moth on a tag with a little circle up here because that's where I'm going to write the Lunar Palette up here. So let's just have fun with the colors and let's see what they can do. I've got them all put out on my palette already, but I'm going to mix in this thing so that I can show you the different colors. We're going to start with Lunar Earth, which is the lightest of them. A lot of water, but then I'm going to come back with some darkness here. I want to see what the color will do. Look how it's already granulating. I love that. I'm going to splash this a little too to make sure that I get a lot of granulating. Just dipping my brush in water now. I'm going to pick up some more color and let's just dab it in there. See what happens. I'm going to just take my brush full of water, add some spots. Remember, granulation, it seeps into the pores of your paper. So think of, here's your paper, it's got all these little pits, right? So the water usually washes over that, but what the granulation does is it gets seeped down into the paper, so into these little pockets. That's where the paint is going to sit. Now if you're using smooth paper, you're not going to see as much granulation. You might not even see any. If you're using really rough paper, you're going to see more than this. This is just regular cold press paper. I want to soften this edge up here. Love that already. We're going to go to Lunar Red Rock now. This is a color I really, really loved. I just like this more muted red. It's kind of a fun color. You can see that it's kind of on a violet side. Look how rich that is. Lots of pigment, but also lots of water. So I'm just rinsing my brush, dipping it into water. More water. There we go. Gonna add some darks up here. Rinsing my brush, just water on my brush now. Let's add some water. Let's watch the magic. Look, it's already happening. Do you see that? I just take a little bit of the water off here. I got a lot of standing water. Okay, now I'm going to go to Lunar Violet. This violet is so dark. It's more like a grade violet instead of like a really bright purple violet. It would be great for a cloudy day, be great for mountains because it's so dark, yet I think it's a lovely value. You see that? It's got a hint of violet, not a lot. Add some more color up there. Remember, I want it nice and dark. Okay, let's dip into some water and get this going a little lighter now. When I'm doing it smooth like that, it takes away the texture, so I always kind of rough it back up just so that I can get the granulation going. The clean brush, I'm going to take a little bit more water off of this one. I see it puddling. Okay. This one you can see without even adding water. Look at the granulation on that one. Do you see it? I'm going to add water now to that. Now I'm going to go to Lunar Blue. This color, I'm not a big blue lover. So this Lunar Blue was for me like a deep, rich midnight blue with hardly any blue color. Like it wasn't a royal blue. It was just a nice tone of blue, just like this violet is a nice tone of violet. So it's almost got a kind of blue, green, gray hint to it. That's probably why I liked it, because of the touch of green in there. You see that's a lot of water. I gotta pick some of that up. This color is a little harder to wet now that it's dried on my palette than the other ones have been. I should have probably wet it first before going into it. There we go. Look at that darkness going in there. Pretty. Gonna just add a little bit more granulation in here, and then I'm going to add some water. Okay, the next one is the Lunar Black. I've seen so many pretty pictures painted with this Lunar Black. I just really like the granulation, which is why I think I'm drawn so much to these lunar colors. Remember, a lot of water in order to get it to granulate. Just water on my brush now. I'm going to add some of that dark rich black up there. I'm going to rinse and add some water. Okay, while that is drying, hopefully I will keep my arm out of it. We're going to move to this little Luna moth. Now for the Luna moth, I thought it would be interesting to try this color, this Lunar Earth, and the Lunar Blue to see if we can get any kind of green, because Luna moths are very green. Let me show you the picture of one here. See how pale green they are with these really lovely brown edging on their wings, and then they've got almost a white belly or a white body that's really, really fluffy. Look how fluffy that thing is. And then look at the eye spots. I love that. So let me see what we can make. Let me push this aside here. I'm going to take that Lunar Earth and that blue, and let's see if we get some kind of green. Let's try it out here. I know it's not that bright. It's just very gray. So let's see what the blue does if we add a lot of water to it. That's not bad. Let's see that yellow, or the Lunar Earth by itself. Adding a lot of water. Let's see, which would I rather have my... I'm going to try a little mix of both there. It's quite light, but I think it will do the trick for us. So let me get a little bit of this Luna in here, the Lunar Earth. And I want it really watery, remember that. So I'm going to add just a touch of the Lunar Blue. Touch more. There we go. And I want to test it to make sure that it's light. And you can see it's way too dark. So that means a lot more water. And in fact, what I think I'll do is I'll just wet the wing area. So I'm turning it sideways here to keep my hand out of it. It's not quite green, but that's okay. I like this color. And then the bottom wing too. Hopefully we should get some really nice granulation here. Hopefully, I said. Oh yeah, it's getting a little bit of granulation. It looks nice. Just going to take my damp brush and clean up that little edge up there. Get a little bit of color. Okay, now the other two wings. By having the water first, it helps it go spread a lot faster than what I could do with a brush. So by having it just already wet, and then applying the color here like this. See how it just kind of is easier for me to move around and everything. So that's what I wanted. And now I can just sweep it on down to the bottom wing. I think the color that I needed for this was that Sennule yellow bright green. If you watched my color 100-day colors, you know that color was, I was trying to make it into my palette. That would have been the perfect color for this. It's an intense color for sure. Okay, I want to use the mix of the red, so the Lunar Red Rock and the Lunar Earth. For the little button here for the tag hole, let's go to this color. It's a nice color mix of the two. This tag on the outside here, I want to have a blue, let's see, do I want blue or violet? I think I'm going to do violet. I want it to have a violet edge. Have you all seen those little round tags with like the metal edge? That's kind of what I want it to look like. So I'm going to pull it upside down because that way I'm not going to stick my hand in something for sure. It's been dried and I've erased the pencil lines around the wings of the Luna moth. So what I'm going to do now is I want to establish a really dark background on the tag itself so that it pops off the Luna moth. You can see right now you can barely see it. You can see some of the beautiful granulation though. And I want to stay out of the body of the moth as well. So for that I'm going to mix the violet and the blue. What's interesting is you saw the violet here kind of push away the blue. I think the violet's the stronger color. There we go. I want to check my darkness. I need a little more pigment. Okay, when you're working with a dark background, I'm going to start from one edge, one little section. So you can see I've just got a little section here, then I've got a section, then I've got a section. But because I don't want to stick my hand in it, I'm going to do the top first and I'm going to turn it upside down. So sorry about that, but now this is the head of the moth. So I just want to make sure that I'm keeping my hands and my arms out of it. See how it's like popping it off already? I'm going to dip into my violet. Remember, it needs water to play, so I'm going to splash, just dipping my fingers in my water, and kind of picking up some color there. I'm going to go into the blue again. See how lovely that's looking already with the drops? It's nerve-wracking painting this close. I'm trying to get all my lines in there, but stay on camera and breathe and talk all at the same time. So if you hear me not talking, that's what's happening. I'm concentrating too much. I'm going to add a little bit of black under here, like the tag is giving us a little bit of shadow. Get my little area here blocked in first. So I want to add some deeper blue down here, especially around that moth's head. Okay, I'm going to touch into the black. Just add a little bit here. Dip my finger in some water and splash. I want a little bit right here. There we go. Now, do you see how that's framed it really nice, the tag? The tag is going to remain dark, but the butterfly or the moth is going to remain nice and light. I have to go to my skinnier brush for the little pieces here. I've just got little bitty triangles there. You see the little bitty spaces. So again, I'm going to do, I think, violet and blue there mixed. This is your time. If you've got an ugly wing, you can always fix it. Now you can see this area here is a lot darker than my tag up above. So what I'm going to do in this area, because it's such a small area and I have to concentrate the color to get it that dark, what I'm going to do is just take a paper towel and blot it. See how it gave it a little bit of texture? I'm going to blot that one as well. You don't want it all obliterated. There we go. Got a watery color in there. So see how that shaped the bottom and the top? That's looking nice. Down here, I'm going to go to the violet, and then I'm going to go into the red rock, Lunar Red Rock. So I'm going to start with the violet and the blue here in the middle. And you see I'm just kind of filling it back by dabbing. All right, I'm going to go into the red rock now. I want to start introducing that. Oops. Painted on my hand. Now what I'm going to do is splash. It's such a little area, narrow area. I'm just going to use my brush there. I want a little more violet up here. There we go. Okay, 2 more spaces here. Establishing that edge first. And I do want to touch a little deeper purple in there. There we go. I like having that really deep rich edge. And then I'm going to go into the red rock and get some color in here. Gonna try splashing again. There we go, a little bit. Okay, I want some darker up here. I love the darkness that I just put in. I'm gonna put a little bit up there. Hopefully it's still wet and it'll help it smoothed out. So I'm gonna just blot that little edge right there. There we go. Okay, one more side to go. I dried this and then I went ahead and added the line for the wing so that I would know what I need to do. On the lines, what I'm doing is I'm mixing the Lunar Earth with a touch of black. So just Lunar Earth, and I'm just dipping into my black and turning it to a darker brown, especially for the top ones. So it's fatter near the body. So I'm kind of laying my brush down to get a fat point. And then as I come up to the tip, I'm staying up on my point of my brush there. The band goes right through his body. Now for the bottom wing, I'm just going to use that Lunar Earth. So just Lunar Earth by itself. It's a little brighter down here. I'm going to outline the circles and the shapes here on his wings with the mixture, the Lunar Earth plus the black. Then I'm going to come in with the blue because I like the blue. It looks more violet. Not a lot of water. Okay, doesn't that look cool? So what I'm going to do for his body is I just want to give him a little bit of color. So what I think I'm just going to do is mix like the purple and the blue together and just really water it down. And then I'm going to see how light it is with my little tester sheet here. Too dark, so I'm going to add a lot more water to that. That's better. And it's furry. So moths have furry bodies, butterflies have smoother bodies. So I'm just going to make little bitty strokes. So I don't want it to look smooth at all. I want it to look kind of roughed in. I'm going to take the lunar earth by itself and do another circle or half circle here. Okay, this looks kind of strange up there. So why it looks strange is it's not very dark. So that little part, remember I did that with the lunar red rock? I'm going to just deepen that with some more lunar red rock. Now that it's next to the dark, it looks kind of wimpy. That's better. Now I want to talk about the string. When you have a hole like this, and an inner hole, and a tag edge, you need to make sure that one of the strings goes over everything, so it comes through the hole and comes out. The other, where it goes into the hole now, remember it's going to the back of the tag. So we would not see it through the little hole here or the tag here. Where we will see it come out is in the back of the tag. So do you see that? So at the tag's end right there. So the string goes in through the hole and then comes out the back side. So we have to draw that. So I'm going to do a black string for that. And I'm going to do a black string on that circle one too. So I'm flipping it this way. I'm going to bring you closer. Hopefully you can see that. Let me go down. There we go. And this tag too has a circle. It goes in and out of that circle tag as well. So I'm going to start here in the tag. Now I'm going to go over everything. And you really can't see it here, but it goes behind this tag. So let's have it come out that way. And then this tag comes in from the back here, goes over everything, and then it comes out the back side. And with violet, I need to make this little hole. And at the top here, I'm just going to make it like there's a nail head. That everything is connecting under. So what we have left to do now is I want to add a little color under the wings here, just under the top and the bottom wing, so we can see that they're separated. I'm going to use the background color because I want the background color to look like it's kind of seeping in. So at this point, it was blue and purple. Gonna rinse my brush and tickle that line. Just soften it out so you get a nice soft line. Draw the line in first. Rinsing my brush out, then just tickle that line. Went a little heavier in this corner here. There we go. Then what I'm going to do with my little brush here, I'm going to take some dark blue or dark violet, whichever one. And I'm going to come right next to that little space right there. All that did was deepen it just a little bit. And now it's showed that he's got shadows on his wings. Okay, the last thing to do is talk about moth's antennas. The Luna moth has feather-like antennas. So here's the top of his head. He's basically got two antennas that come out like this. But each one of those are feather-like. So when you're doing a feather, don't do this, like arrows. Make them a little gradual and a little soft. So see how they're softly curved? You see that? So this is what we want our little antennas to look like. Of course, they're going to be very small, but this is the correct way, not this. I have a white Posca pen, but then I also have a Uniball Signo pen, and I'm going to try this one first. So I need to shake it really well whenever you're using either of these pens. All right, so we're going to draw our two little lines. While that's drying, I'm just going to come in here and add a dot. And now let's give them nice little feather edges. So I drew the lines, and then I gave them feather edges, and then I dotted each one of the little holes or spots on him. Now on this area too with the nail, I'm going to just put a little highlight on the nail. All that's left is to write, and then I will come back and show you. Here's how my pages turned out. I really like seeing all of the colors here in a different application than here. So let me bring it closer so you can see it, and I'll look at all of the granulating texture. See his little antennas? I also took the white on his body and just kind of scribbled some marks so he looked nice and hairy. I love where you can see the red line and the violet line there. Here's Lunar Earth, Lunar Red Rock, Lunar Violet, Lunar Blue, and Lunar Black. Isn't the granulation amazing? I hope you're inspired to go out and try some of the lunar colors. They are really beautiful, and you can't beat the granulation and the texture that you get. Please leave me a comment, a like, or subscribe to my channel if you're inspired. Thanks for watching.